Howdy, it's Kyle talking about the poorest county in each of the wealthiest states in the country. So what I did here was I took a look at the 25 states with the highest median household income in the country and then looked at the poorest county in that state by examining the one that has the lowest median income. But I know that just looking at income alone isn't exactly the same as poverty, but it is a pretty good indicator. And what I wanted to do here is take a look at which area in the state geographically is the poorest part. So is it next to the wealthy area? Is it as far as you can get away from the wealthiest part of the state? But that's what I wanted to do in this video. And I'll probably eventually do another one where I look at the wealthiest county in the poorest states, but this one's going to be the poorest county in the wealthiest state. So let's check those out. Starting off at number 25 is Georgia. So at number 25, Georgia's household income was pretty close to the U.S. median. The poorest county in the state is Wheeler County near the center of the state, and its household income of under $25,000 is only about 1/3 of the state median. The county is very rural. The population is only 7,000 people, and that is declining. The county seat is Alamo. And in the case of Georgia, Wheeler County is starting to approach the part of the state that's close to the Okefenokee Swamp. And with the obvious exception of the entire state of Florida, people generally don't want to live near swamps, and often these are some of the lower income areas in the state, including in Wheeler County, Georgia. At number 24 is Idaho, and the poorest county in the state is Madison County in the eastern part. The population is about 56,000 people and it's growing. The largest city is Rexburg. With the median income of the county being under $30,000, that's significantly less than the $75,000 that's the state median. One of the reasons why the county is so low income is because Rexburg is home to the Idaho campus of Brigham Young University. This is a fairly large campus, and in general, when you have a lot of students are low income if they have any income at all, so they tend to bring the overall median income of the county down. There are other things going on, and in general, Idaho is a relatively low-wage state outside of the Boise metro area, but Madison County in the east is the poorest in the state with a median household income under $30,000. At number 23 is Texas, so pretty close to the U.S. median. The household income for the state is just under $76,000. The poorest county is Starr County in the far south. The household income there is under $33,000. The population of the county is about 66,000 people, and it is growing. It's located right along the Rio Grande, which is the international border with Mexico. However, this is not in that metro area that's been growing a ton at the mouth of the Rio Grande, where you have Brownsville, McAllen, Harlingen, and Edinburgh. The biggest city here is Rio Grande City, but it is a bit too far from that larger metro to be getting some of the benefits from some of the growth there. Being right there along the Mexican border, it's no surprise that the county is 98% Hispanic, with the vast majority being Mexican. And that's pretty common for the counties in Texas along the Mexican border. They've been predominantly Mexican for the past 300 years or so. But for Rio Grande City and for Starr County, it's very poor, with a household income under $33,000, the poorest county in Texas. Next up is Nevada. The median income for the state is about $76,000. The poorest county is Pershing County at about $43,000. The county has about 6,500 people with a population decline, and the largest town is Lovelock. This is too far east of the Reno, Carson City, Lake Tahoe area to be really benefiting from the growth there. Essentially, the entire economy of Nevada is based on gambling or mining, and there's essentially neither in Pershing County. But probably what the county is most known for is it's home to the big Burning Man festival each year. So even though Nevada is growing and there are some decent job opportunities in other parts of the state, nothing is really going on in Pershing County, and it is the poorest county in the state. At number 21 is North Dakota. The household income for the state is about $76,000. The poorest county in the state is Slope County with a median income of $47,000. The population of Slope County is 670 people, and it's declining. The county was created in 1914 by breaking off from the adjacent county, and it's lost population every single year of its existence. There were 5,000 people in the county at the 1920 census, and again, 670 now. This is the county that's home to White Butte, the highest point in the state. It's right there along the Montana border. But this is not along the I-94 corridor. This is not where Medora and Theodore Roosevelt National Park are. So Slope County, a declining population for 100 years, not a whole lot going on there, and it is the lowest income county in all of North Dakota. At number 20 is Arizona with a household income of about $77,000. The poorest county is Graham County, whose household income is about $43,000. The county has about 40,000 people and is growing. The county seat is Safford, And this is a very rural county for the most part. It's too far from either the Phoenix or Tucson metro areas to be even exurban to those. And despite being way out there in the desert, irrigated agriculture is a huge part of the economy there. But as is usually the case, places where agriculture is the biggest part of the economy, incomes tend to be fairly low. Also interesting is that Graham County is the only county in the state that has an Anglo name. But whether its name is Anglo, Hispanic, or Indigenous, Graham County in Arizona is the lowest income county in the state. Staying in the west, at number 19 is Oregon. This is the first state whose median income is in the 80,000 range. The poorest county is Harney County with a median income of only 45,000. The population of the county is about 7,400 people and is declining. The largest town is Burns. This is located in the southeastern portion of the state in the high desert. The south end is the Nevada state line. This is a large county and doesn't have a whole lot of economic activity going on there. There is a little bit of ranching and farming, but this isn't exactly an economic juggernaut here. It's a very pretty area, some subtle beauty, and very few people around. And I can see how something like that would appeal for people to live in a place like Harney County, but it is the poorest county in all of Oregon. Next, I'm going over to Illinois, whose median income is about 80,000. The poorest county in the state is Alexander, whose median income is 40,000. Alexander County is the southernmost county in the state. It's located right where the Ohio and Mississippi rivers converge. And famously at this point is the town of Cairo, spelled like Cairo, Egypt. The county has about 4,500 people. It had 25,000 in 1940. The city of Cairo has 1,700 people. It had 14,000 in 1940. So the population of this county has been declining drastically for the past 70 years or so. As you can imagine, being located right there at the confluence of two of the biggest rivers on the continent, shipping was a big part of the economy here. Through the years, Cairo's importance became less and less, population became less and less, poverty and crime went up and up. Next up is Vermont. Statewide income is about 81,000. The poorest county in the state is Essex County. Median income is 55,000. The population is just under 6,000 people and it is declining. The largest town in the county is Guildhall. And this county is the northeasternmost one in the state. It borders both New Hampshire and Quebec. And in general, this part of the country, not just northeastern Vermont, but also northern New Hampshire and kind of west central Maine, has had a big problem with opioid abuse in the past several years. And as is often the case in areas hit with the opioid epidemic, incomes are low, poverty is high. Now with that being said, it's still Vermont and it's still oh so cute, and the median income is still 55,000, but for Vermont being a well above average income state, for 55,000 that is relatively low, and Essex County is the poorest county in Vermont. At number 16 is New York. Median income for the state is 82,000. The poorest county in the state is the Bronx. Income is 47,000. The Bronx is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City, but it is its own county. The population is just under 1.4 million people and it is declining. Most of the borough is fairly low income and high poverty. There are some pockets of wealth in the far northern parts of the borough, and there are also some really nice big parks in the east end of the borough. Of the 4 boroughs that matter, the Bronx is the only one I haven't really gotten a chance to explore. And I was actually quite surprised to see the median income for the Bronx be so low. I knew it was the poorest part of New York City, but I didn't expect the incomes to be that low. I know the Bronx isn't as expensive as Manhattan, but a median income of $47,000 in New York City? Wow, that's rough. At number 15 is Delaware. Median income for the state is $82,000, and the poorest county is Kent County, whose median income is $69,000. Although it's very important to note that there are only 3 counties for Delaware oriented in the north-south line, with Kent County being the middle one. The population of the county is 193,000, and it is growing. The seat is Dover, which is also the state capital. And the biggest reason for Kent County being the poorest county in the state is the fact that it is the middle of those 3 counties. The northern of the 3 is Newcastle County. That's largely Philadelphia suburbs, a lot of suburban growth there. And the southernmost county is where you have the nice beaches and a big agricultural sector, especially in poultry. Delaware's economy overall is doing pretty well, but most of the economic growth in the state is in the northern third and the southern third, leaving the middle third, Kent County, the poorest county in the state. Now going up to another small state, at number 14 is Rhode Island. The median income for the state is about $85,000. The poorest county is Providence County at about $73,000. So with the state median being 85,000 and the poorest county being 73,000, there isn't a huge economic disparity across the state, which makes sense because the state is so small. Providence County is in fact where Providence, the state capital, is. The population is about 675,000 people and it's growing. This is the northernmost county of the state and it's almost entirely urban. Providence was one of the last state capitals that I had a chance to visit, but when I did, I really liked it. I think it's definitely underrated, not talked about much, and despite Providence County being the poorest county in Rhode Island, again, it isn't that far behind the state median. At number 13 is Minnesota. The median income is $85,000. The poorest county is Monoman County, whose median income is just under $53,000. The population of the county is about 5,000 people and it is declining. One thing interesting about this county is the entire thing is located within the reservation for the White Earth Band of the Ojibwe Nation. And as is quite often the case, areas that are predominantly indigenous are also pretty poor. But despite that being the case, the median income of this county at about $53,000 is much higher than the poorest county of most other states. In fact, despite Minnesota being 13th on this list, there are only 8 states in the country whose poorest county is wealthier than Monoman County, the poorest county in Minnesota. At number 12 is Alaska. Statewide median income is $88,000. The poorest county equivalent is the Kusilvac Borough, whose median income is just under $43,000. So back to another state where the poorest county equivalent is about half, or in this case less than half, of the state median. This is a huge area with a population of only 8,000 people, 94% of which are indigenous Yupik. The only real town in this whole borough is Hooper Bay. There are about 1,000 people or so in this little town. And basically, since forever, the economy of this spot has been based off of fishing. But like many other parts of rural Alaska, many people just live a subsistence existence with fishing and seafood. So with very little economic activity in this borough, you can see why the Kusilvac borough is only half the median income of the state of Alaska and the poorest one in the entire state. Next up is Virginia with a median income of $90,000. The poorest county is Buchanan County with a median income of under $40,000. The population of the county is 19,000. It's been declining since 1960 when it had 36,000. And this is the county that's located at the tri-state point of Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky. And like many other counties in this part of the country, coal was a huge part of the economy and still is, but coal has been declining through the years and the economy of the county has been going with it. Not a whole lot of the economic growth is making it to the southwestern portion of the state, into the Appalachians, coal country, and the poorest county of the state is again Buchanan. Although I do think they pronounce it there Buchanan. Entering the top 10 is Connecticut. Median household income is just under $92,000. Connecticut no longer uses counties, they have planning regions, and the lowest income planning region in the state is the southeastern one, whose median income is only $80,000. And with that, that makes Connecticut the state whose poorest county equivalent is the wealthiest one in the country. The population of the planning region is about 280,000 people, and the largest city is New London. So similar to Rhode Island, there isn't a huge income disparity across the state because it is such a small state. Slightly lower incomes here in southeastern Connecticut than the rest of the state. At number 9 is Colorado. Statewide median income is $93,000, and the poorest county in the state is Costilla County in the south central part. Median income is under $35,000. And in this part of the state, it's very rural. This is not the part of the state that has the ski resorts or national parks. This is not where you have the big agriculture or mining sector. Colorado is also a big state for the energy sector, military, and aerospace, but none of those things are going on in Costilla County. However, the county is home to San Luis, which is the oldest continuously inhabited town in Colorado. It was founded by the Spanish in the early 1800s and today has about 600 people. So Colorado, pretty wealthy state, but not much of that wealth makes it down to Costilla County in the south central part. At number 9 is Utah, whose median income is about $93,000, but the poorest county in the state is Piute County, whose median income is only $33,000, only about 1/3 of the state median. Now the county only has 1,400 people, but even with it being that small, there isn't a whole lot of economic activity going on there. Quite a while back, it was an area for gold mining, but not so much anymore. It's located in the part of the state that has a bunch of national parks, national monuments, places that people tend to visit, but none of those are in Piute County. So it's almost like this forgotten county in southern Utah that doesn't have any of the parks, doesn't have the transportation corridor, doesn't have big population growth. So it is relatively poor, but it is still surprising to see the median income of Piute County being only 1/3 of the Utah state median. Now going northwest from there, I'm going to Washington at number 7. Statewide median income is just under $95,000. The poorest county in the state is Whitman County. Median income is just under $50,000. The population of the county is about 49,000 people. The largest city in the county is Pullman, which has about 32,000 people. The economy of the county is largely based upon two things. One, wheat farming. Eastern Washington is one of the biggest parts of the country for wheat production, but also Pullman is home to Washington State University. So it's another case of students and farmers being poor, and that's what Whitman County is, students and farmers, and that's what makes it the poorest county in all of Washington. Next up is Hawaii. Statewide median income is just over $95,000. The poorest county in the state is Hawaii County, which is the Big Island. Median income there is $74,000. So counties are a little bit different in Hawaii, with each of the major islands being its own county. So again, this is the Big Island, the one with Hilo as the seat. The population of the island is 210,000 and it is growing. Hilo is on the eastern side of the island and is not dependent on tourism like the western side of the island is. Meanwhile, the west side of the island is where you have the big beach resorts around Kailua Kona and some of the other villages. With the Big Island having a median income of $74,000, Hawaii is second in the country for the highest income poorest county in the state. At number 5 is California. Statewide median income is $95,000. The lowest median income county is Trinity at about $47,000. So California is another state where the lowest income county has about half the median income for the state. The population of the county is about 15,000 people and it is declining. This is in the northwestern portion of the state, but not along the coast. It was originally a gold rush town, then that went away. Then it was a logging town, and that went away. Now it's more of a small-scale tourism town. But the county has faced some economic difficulties in recent years, and like many other parts of the rural West, they might be very beautiful, but might have limited economic opportunities. But hey, if you want affordable California, you can buy yourself a place out in Weaverville in Trinity County, the poorest county in California. At number 4 is New Hampshire. Statewide median income is just under $97,000. Lowest income county is Coos County, which is the northernmost county in the state. Income is only $55,000 per year. The population of the county is about 32,000 people, and the largest town is Berlin. Like many other towns in this region, it was a big paper mill town, but the mills closed down and the economy suffered as a result. And Coos County has hit some hard times. This is the epicenter of the opioid epidemic in New England. New Hampshire is the state with the lowest poverty rate, and normally when you think of New Hampshire, it's normally nice, cheery, wealthy kind of stuff, but it can be pretty rough. There is quite a bit of poverty, and the lowest incomes in New Hampshire is the northernmost county, Coos County. At number 3 is Maryland. Median household income is just under $99,000. The poorest county is Somerset County. Median income is only $52,000. The population of the county is about 25,000 people. The county seat is the town of Princess Anne, which has about 3,000 people. This is in the part of the state referred to as the Eastern Shore, so it's on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay, going out to the Atlantic Ocean. However, this is the western side of the Eastern Shore, so it's swampy and not the nice beaches like you have in Ocean City. This is another case of an area that's primarily agricultural, having low wages, and in this case, Somerset County has the lowest wages in all of Maryland, one of the highest wage states in the country. But it's not as high wage as New Jersey, coming in at number 2. Median household income is just under $100,000. The poorest county in the state is Cumberland County. Median income is $62,000. The county has a population of about 155,000 people, and the seat is Bridgeton. And this is located in the south centralist part of the state, just about the most rural part of New Jersey. But what this county is the heart of the agricultural sector of New Jersey. And it might be a surprise for people to learn that New Jersey is actually a very important state in terms of agriculture. But I'll say it again, areas that are predominantly dependent on agriculture tend to have lower wages, so for Cumberland County to be an agricultural county in a very high wage state means it is the lowest income county in the state. And the state with the highest median household income is Massachusetts. It's almost exactly $100,000. However, the poorest county in the state is Hampton County, whose income is only $66,000. The county has about 466,000 people, and the largest city is Springfield. This is located in the southwestern portion of the state, and the county line to the south is the state line with Connecticut. And although there isn't a whole lot of Rust Belt in Massachusetts, Springfield is the one part of the state where you do have some of it. Like many other towns in this region, paper mills were a big part of the economy, but then they shut down. So it just goes to show that no matter how wealthy a state may be, there are going to be pockets of poverty, and for Massachusetts, Hampshire County is the biggest pocket of poverty with the lowest incomes in the entire state. So that was my look at the poorest county in each of the wealthiest states in the country, and one thing I found very interesting is that for the 19 wealthiest states, 16 of them have their poorest county in an area where it's on the state line with another state, if not the far corner of a state. So pretty interesting to see the edges of a state often being the poorest part. And like I said at the beginning, maybe I'll do one where I'll talk about the wealthiest counties in the poorest states to see it from the other direction. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up to let me know you approve, and subscribe to this channel if you're interested in learning more about geography from a nerd. But yeah, thanks for watching. Geography King signing out. I want to give a special thanks to my Superior patrons for their support. If you're interested in becoming a Superior patron or even an Erie or Huron patron, check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description. As always, thank you very much.